And so Pride was the biggest, before UFC really took over in the last few years, Pride was the biggest organization. So Gary was a household name in Japan and still is, recognized in large parts of Asia way more than he is here. But it's a mixed martial arts, like similar to UFC, so it's got grappling and submissions, as well as the striking arts. One thing that contributed to the brain injury, though, was Gary's time spent in an organization called K1. Japanese kickboxing organization. You want to just explain that time and the difference between the two sports?
I quickly went from mixed martial arts. For those of you who don't know what MMA is, that's what mixed martial arts. It's the fighting that you see on TV now with George St. Pierre and a number of other people. So I quickly went from MMA to kickboxing simply because my contract ran out doing MMA. And I stopped doing that before I retired doing that. When I retired doing MMA, another Japanese company came up to me in Japan before I even came home from retirement, asked me to, "Wait, Gary, how about you do kickboxing?" So I thought, hey, great. It's a good way for me to make money. I don't have to get your regular job, punch a clock, so on and so forth. So I started doing that, and my eyes were opened up even more, and understood what K1 was all about. Was heavy-duty kick boxing, exactly what it is. Their whole persona works on getting knocked out. Everything's there is about knocking the person out, trying to beat the person up pretty much. You're trying to knock people out.
And that was, where Gary suffered his most concussions, just because it's purely trying to knock somebody out with headshots. You can YouTube some of the fights against Hongman Choi, 7'2". Gary stepped up against anybody and everybody, which made him unique and made him a fan favorite, but also probably contributed to some of the things going on now. Before we move into a bit of what's going on right now in your life in terms of how you deal with the brain injury, the last sort of end of your career, you didn't have as much success, and you were fighting overseas with different types of promotions. What can you say about fighting all these different types of places as opposed to maybe the UFC and the regulation that we see over here in North America?
Well, one thing right away, that the regulations in every country that you go into, I fought in Brazil, I fought in Africa, I fought in Japan, I fought in Korea. There was a spectrum of places where I fought, and every place that you fight had different rules. So the rules that, and then the things, they don't really care about what you did last week. So if you got locked down last week and you fought there last week, you can fight in Switzerland or Germany, something else the very next week. And that's what was going on. And because I really didn't know anything about, honestly, when I tell you I didn't know nothing about brain injury, I had no idea. I was totally oblivious to what brain injury was. I saw there was, mood changes. I didn't know what it was, but I knew things were happening to me that I had no idea what was going on.
So on that point, when did you first start to figure it out? Was it you yourself that figured it out?
Well, I traveled with my sister, Susie, by the way. She's not here today. But if you look me up on on YouTube, you'll see the blonde, dark girl beside me. That's my sister. She went to every fight I had because I took my sister to every fight simply because if I wasn't able to look after myself, there was always somebody that loved me that was looking after me regardless of what happened. If I could make a decision, a life or death decision on whether I was going to live or die or change my heart or my tooth to be knocked out, that she'd make a proper decision and I had to live with it.
So talk briefly about some of the worst injuries that you've had, and then kind of leads into the fact that you didn't really see the head injuries developing as much as some of the other more outward injuries.
Okay, well, I got broken ribs. I got a kick in the ribs and I got broken ribs on this side. Now I got a protruding rib that sticks out here. I got, I couldn't even tell you how many times I've been getting knocked out or knocked silly. Sometimes you're actually knocked out in a fight, and after the fight, during the fight, it looks like you're coherent. You're talking with the referee. You're quite coherent in what's going on. You can talk and give information, but you watch the tape of what you did in the fight, and you have no recollection of what you did. That's what you call a knockout. You're knocked out because you've been hit so hard that you don't even know where you are. So that happened on a regular basis to me without knowing how that was damaging my head. It's easy now to say, well, how did you know? I had no idea that I was damaging myself. I really had no idea. I broken ribs. I got cut. I got kicked by Pat Berry. He's man. I thought I was gonna beat this little guy. So I went out to fight Pat Berry and went out there and he did something for 3 seconds and then cut me for I think 24 stitches across my head really quick. So I've had a few injuries. I've had my sure injuries. I've lost tooth, lost my teeth from fighting. Did this, did that. Endless stitches and broken bones and just the regular stuff. Yeah, you would think of it as weird things, but it was quite regular. Nothing out of the ordinary.
And are you retired now? When did you stop fighting? And well, I guess that answered that question. When did you stop fighting? And what led to that decision?
Well, you know, at 45 years of age now, in October, I believe, was my last fight. I retired simply because at 45, well, sorry, at 44 at the time, I felt that I'd given enough to the sport. I had what I should have had at a man 45 years of age. I really want to fight again. I would like to, but I really can't. I've been going along now, taking all sorts of brain scans and CAT scans, trying to make sure that I'm okay. But I do have quite a significant brain injury that I can't remember anything on. You know, we'll go in the car now, going back home to Barrie, and I won't be remember this conversation here and what I'm giving to you, telling you. I won't remember all of it. I'll remember I did it, but I won't remember all of it. So these things started happening. I started noticing slight differences and changes in myself, angry for several different reasons, and sometimes for no reason at all. But just going through changes. I retired.
So what kind of, you're dealing with these problems now, memory loss, and anger, anxiety, depression, things like that. What sort of steps are you taking to get help, and what sort of methods do you use to try and get by in your day-to-day life?
Well, now I go to the brain injury clinic in Barrie, Ontario. I do a lot of classes there. I also anger management myself, and now my doctor's got me on several different drugs to try to calm myself down. So I guess with the collection of everything that I'm doing, I have received quite a bit. You notice that there is a change. I'm not as angry. I'm not like before. I'd be like every minute of the day I'd be shaking and ready to do something. People explain to me that I'm like I go from 0 to 100 in 2 seconds, and it's I think that's 0 to 100 now is maybe 60 seconds.
I'd like to, we're just going to sort of wrap up. Just one final question. I'd like to thank Gary for speaking out about this. It's a pretty hard topic to talk about. Gary's a celebrity, very outgoing guy, so for him to come out with this, I think is a big step. Stay tuned for the book that's coming out February 2012. You got shirts and you can get autographs from Gary. But what do you have to say to fans of the sport who, a speech like this could worry them about whether it's an appropriate sport? I think we both agree it's a fantastic sport with the right regulations. So, the sport's brought you a lot. Do you have anything final to say?
My final comment is really to everybody. if anything can be taken in moderation. And when you do have an injury, they should have regulations on what needs to happen from that injury, rather than pacify and wait forever. At the point that I got into the business, it was everything happened and things were going fast, and people didn't have time to look at this. You got knocked out, okay, you're okay, you don't have nothing cut. Unless you saw a cut, the person wasn't injured if they got knocked out. That's how it was. But nowadays, because we're here talking to you, and you're here going around listening to other BIS members and things that are going on, there's the awareness more of injuries quite a bit more, substantial amount more. So this is all good. This is all good. This is all good information. I'm sure I'll find you guys on YouTube. Anyways, let's just like say your head is a very complicated thing here that I'm trying to grasp. I'm trying to understand what's going on with myself even with these injuries. I'm doing the best I can. Anyways, thank you very much for being here. Have a good time.
Thanks, Norm, for inviting Gary to speak today.